Hello, everyone. Don't worry, I'm not driving. I'm parked at the moment. I wanted to reply to something while I was thinking about it. Uh, I've been listening to. Well, first of all, I saw someone talk to another person who's trans, and they used the word transgenderism, and that word has bothered me for a while, and I have not been able to really put into words why. And I finally figured it out. I've been listening to a YouTuber named Rachel Oates, and she had mentioned something that she had noticed about when talking about people who are always getting after. That doesn't work. Well, talking about people who like to criticize trans people, especially, or homosexual people, especially those who are like on the religious right or politicians. Often, when they're against it, you'll notice they'll often, instead of calling people gay people or lesbian people, or, they'll call them the homosexuals, the gays. They don't like using the word people, and she had come to the conclusion, she wasn't sure if maybe she was on the wrong conclusion, but that they were calling them as a way to separate them from people. And I agree with her. It's something I've seen before, and I think that it is often done and is intended to be so. It's a lot easier to talk about people you dislike if you don't think about them as people. You don't talk about the people who are coming to this country down south as, women and children. You think of them as the immigrants, or what's the term they kept calling them? That a lot of times the news, especially Fox News, instead of calling the people coming in as immigrant people or women and children or even men, they were calling them immigrants. They were calling them different terms, but often include this, not pointing out that they were people. And I think I finally decided about people using the word transgenderism. Sorry about that. That was easy for me to say. It's the same thing. Instead of talking about transgender as being an aspect of who we are, they're making it an activity of what we are or what we are. The best way I can think about it is to make an example of it. If you talk about a vampire, you get probably in your idea, depending on your age. If you're my age, you might think of Boris Karloff in a nice evening nice evening clothes. You're younger, you might think of that sparkly guy from Twilight. Jacob, is it? Edward? I forget which one's the vampire. But, you have this picture of a vampire, you get the whole image of the vampire. You say the word vampirism, and you're not thinking about the person anymore. You're thinking about the act of the sucking of the blood, someone treating someone as a way of consuming. You say Hannibal Lecter to cannibal, and you think of Hannibal Lecter. Or if you say cannibal, you might think Hannibal Lecter. If you have been raised racist, you might think of those South Island Pacific characters they used to use, of the guy with the bone through his nose and the big bowl and Bugs Bunny inside the pot. Although technically he was a rabbit, so it wasn't cannibal. There wasn't a cannibal involved in that. But anyway, you think of the person. You think of cannibalism, you're thinking of the person being someone eating someone. You're not picturing the person, you're picturing the act. When people are calling us transgender, saying that we are transgenderisms, they're talking about transgenderism. They're not talking about us as people. They're talking about us as acts. They're saying transgender is not an aspect of who we are. Transgenderism is an act that we do. It makes it easier for them to get after us, to be less humane in how they treat us, and easier to talk bad about us. And it's just a thought I had, and something you might want to think about when next time you're talking online and someone uses that term. Or if you're talking, you've used that term before and you've never really thought about it. Because, words sometimes have meanings beyond what you think, and there's often intent behind some of them that go a lot further than you realize at first. Anyway, this is Alanis, or was now F, saying goodbye, and hope to be doing more of these videos. Bye. And how do you turn it off? You can tell that. Oh, there we go. Yes.